Today we're talking about the devastating flooding that recently happened in New York City. Why did property owners lose everything? So stay tuned in this video if you want to know how to protect yourself against devastation like this. Hello, my name is Greene, president and owner of the Flood Insurance Guru, and today we're talking about the devastation that recently hit New York City when it comes to flooding. Why did people lose everything? What happened? So as you can see right here with these videos from New York City, New York City was recently devastated with flooding. They got more than 7 inches of rain in 24 hours, which was a record for New York. And why this happened? Well, in this particular situation, a storm system basically stopped on top of New York City. Honestly, something we're seeing happening across the whole country. You see, you don't have to live on the coast. You don't really have to live in high-risk flood areas for this to happen. In fact, we've seen it happen in Waverly, Tennessee. We've seen it happen in Birmingham, Alabama, St. Louis, Missouri. These are all areas that are not on the coast and where flooding has not been an issue that much in the last 10 years until recently. So flooding can happen anywhere, but how do you protect yourself from this happening to you? Well, one reason is understanding your flood risk. And what does this mean? What is actually at risk of flooding? What could happen if you lose everything? Are you going to have the financial protection to get everything back? Unfortunately, most people don't in these situations because they're not in what's called required areas. This means that they don't have flood insurance, usually because it's optional, but actually 30% of claims come out of these areas. So what can you do to protect yourself? Well, having the right flood insurance policy in place is very important to avoid this financial devastation like so many people in New York City are going through. This can give you the protection for your building coverage, protection for your contents coverage. If you want to know more options on what's available for flood insurance, click up here on the next video and you can see the different options with private flood insurance and the National Flood Insurance Program across the country. So when it comes to protecting yourself though, remember, flood insurance is not going to stop your property from flooding, but what it is potentially going to stop is that financial devastation of not recovering. And this is what happened with Hurricane Harvey. This is what happened with the Waverly, Tennessee flooding, where nobody had flood insurance because it wasn't required because they weren't in a high-risk flood zone. So what is a high-risk flood zone? Well, we're talking about here flood zones that begin with A or V. Now, V generally is going to be those coastal areas. A is going to be more inland. Now, these are areas where if you have a mortgage, flood insurance is going to be required. But remember, even if you're in something like flood zone X, doesn't mean your property is not going to flood. In fact, you may even have a higher chance of it flooding. Because remember, these flood maps are just used from a regulatory standpoint. This means it may take 5 to 10 years for them to get updated. So it's very important that you understand that you are at risk of flooding and you don't want to lose everything like so many people across the country have the last 5 years. So my name is Greene, president and owner of the Flood Insurance Guru, and I'll say thank you for tuning in to today's video on the New York City flooding devastation. If you want to hear more videos like this or watch more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel below. We look forward to helping you understand your flood risks and your flood insurance options across the country. Thank you.